In order to create a hard copy of your work, you need to understand page layouts and map scales. The page or map sheet is the place where you add all the important map elements such as titles, legends, scales, north arrows, neat lines, and scale bars. You create the page in layout view using ArcMap. It's important to recognize and understand the differences between the layout tools and the standard tools. An easy way to tell the difference is the layout tool icons all have a sheet behind them. So be careful when using the pan zoom tools. The standard tools will adjust the map scale inside the data frame, where the layout tools adjust the page inside the ArcMap window. Look at the differences shown. Follow a systematic approach to laying out your projects. Start with a good plan. Visualize your project. One of the most important decisions is the page orientation, portrait or landscape. I recommend letting the map dictate this based on the major length. Is it north-south dominant like the shape of Arkansas, or is it east-west dominant like the shape of Oklahoma? North-south shapes are better suited for portrait orientation, so east-west shapes are better suited landscape. There are dozens of map templates to choose from to help you set up your map, though I rarely use any of them. File pull-down menu, the page and print setup is used to dictate page size and orientation. Always check Use the printer paper settings and Show printer margins on the layout options. Data frames can be sized to exact dimensions using the Size and Position tab in the Data Frame Properties dialog box. Proper scaling is necessary. There are 3 scale options: automatic scaling, fixed scale, and fixed extent. I typically start with automatic and then set to a specific fixed scale. Important terms: map units, display units, and page units. Be sure to read these definitions. The scale bar shows current scale. The display units are specified in the General tab of the Data Frame Properties and shown in the lower right-hand corner in ArcMap. Notice the map units are grayed out. Map units are based on the coordinate system selected, which can be set on the Coordinate System tab in the Data Frame Properties. Labels and annotation can be found on almost every map. Dynamic labels are set by the Label tab in the Layer Properties and are based on attribute fields. They are placed automatically by the software and you have limited control over where they end up. Graphics text can be placed anywhere on the map using the text tool found on the Draw toolbar. You have complete control over their appearance and location, but they're no longer linked to attributes. Annotation is dynamic labels that have been converted to graphics text. They can be displayed in the Data Frame Properties and you have complete control over their appearance and location, but are no longer linked to attributes. Dynamic labels are very important and you want to get some comfort level on applying them. Often the switch to turn the labels on is overlooked in the upper left-hand corner. The labeling method is also very important. Should all the labels be the same way, or should they be different based on symbol settings? A variety of different types of graphics text can be added from the text tool draw toolbar. Text boxes can accommodate multiple lines of text. The label tool is found on the text tools on the draw toolbar. This tool will create graphic labels based on the label settings in the layer properties. I always place the label at the position click to get more control over where it's placed. Annotation is usually created by converting dynamic labels. You have control over appearance and placement, and you can reuse this text in other map projects by saving it as a feature class in a geodatabase, or you can just save it as text in this map. The size of the labels are specified when you create them. If they're at 10 points when you zoom in and out, the label stays at 10 points. Symbols and text can change when you zoom in and out. To make sure your labels are at the specified size, you can set the reference scale, which by definition is the scale at which the symbols will appear at their assigned size. To create annotation, zoom to the scale you want, have the dynamic labels set the way you want them, turn off any other labels you don't want to convert, then right-click the data frame and select Convert Labels to Annotation. Next, decide how you want the annotation to be stored. You can store them locally in this map or create a feature class in a geodatabase. Unplaced labels and annotation go into an overflow box where you can decide to place the labels or not. If the annotation is stored locally in this map, you can turn them on and off in the Annotation Groups tab in the Data Frame Properties. There are several map elements that are added to create quality maps. All map elements are added using the Insert pull-down menu. Legends are found on most maps. They give the reader an understanding about the symbol shown on the map. The Legend Wizard is the tool you use to select what items will be shown and exactly how they will appear. You have a great deal of control over how the legend appears. The first step is to decide which layers should be shown in the legend by moving the map layers over to the Legend Items box using the arrow buttons. You can specify the type of border, background colors, drop shadows. You can also determine the types of symbols used for each item. After selecting the items I want to appear in my legend, I usually accept the default options and then edit to my liking by adjusting the properties of the legend. Legend styles are used to control how the symbol swatch and labels are arranged and which labels will be shown. To adjust the style, select the layer from the Items tab, pick the Style button. I often use the slanted label style shown in the upper left hand of the Legend Item selector. Also from this page you can specify which items belong in different columns and how many columns you want for an item. Be sure to explore this tab carefully. You can make changes to the labels in the Symbology tab for the layer properties that will also show up in your legend. You can also insert scale bars. Your scale bar unit should be appropriate for the objective of your map, and I strongly recommend using nice round numbers like 50, 100, 500 instead of 135 or 240. You can specify how the scale bar will adjust to changes in the map. The scale bar is dynamically linked to the data frame scale and should always be correct. This slide demonstrates how you can expect the scale bar to change when resized. Either adjust the division values, adjust the width, or adjust the number of divisions. I recommend adjusting the width and keeping your scale bar divisions and subdivisions in value constant, but the length will change. There are plenty of north arrows to choose from for your projects. Just keep in mind the north arrow should not be very high on the visual hierarchy of your map objective. I recommend keeping it simple. The title tool found on the Insert pull-down menu will insert text that is large enough for a map title. You have complete control over the size and position of the map title. Pictures can add rich content to your maps. Neat lines can be used to create colored backgrounds, border designs, and shadows. These are basically colored rectangles used to frame or group elements together. From the Draw toolbar, there are a number of shapes that can be added to your project, which you can control the size, shape, position, color, and outline color. Frame grids are not created using the Insert pull-down menu. Grids are created as properties of the data frame by selecting the New Grid on the Grids tab. You can make latitude and longitude graticals, northern and eastern grids, or simple reference grids. When your map's perfect, you need to print it. When printing, you should keep an eye on the dynamic preview in the lower right-hand area of the page setup menu. If it looks like your map is off the page, it will not print properly. You need to adjust it by selecting the setup tool. In most cases, you'll want to share your map with friends and turn them in to me as PDF files. To do this, make sure your map is exactly the way you want it. Select Export Map from the File pull-down menu and set the type to PDF. Make sure you know which folder your PDF file is being saved in. Now you're ready to take on another project. Look to Chapter 5, Part B.